What's going on, Packers fans? Aaron Nagler here with some post-game chat for you after the Packers drop a heartbreaker to the Chicago Bears for the first time in a long time. 24-22, Packers had the game in hand and then pissed it away, both from bad coaching decisions to bad plays and or playmakers making bad decisions. Just a tough one. Just a very tough one to swallow as the Packers head into the playoffs to face the Philadelphia Eagles next weekend or maybe Monday night. We don't know any of the timing on the playoff games yet. We'll find out hopefully later tonight. But Packers fans worldwide, here for you. Let the healing begin. I understand there's going to be a lot of negativity in this chat tonight. I'm very much ready for it all, but let me just remind everybody that this game in and of itself does not define the season, does not define this team, the coaches, the players. It is a tough loss to take because it's a game they should have won. But no doubt, this was the Bears Super Bowl, and they won it. Hats off to them. Tip of the cap. A lot of those folks won't be in that building next year. But the bigger picture pullback thing that I know a lot of fans will be looking at here is the division record for Matt LaFleur in this 2024 season. Pretty tough to take, especially when you consider the fact that it took a last-second block field goal to beat the Bears last time around. And now to be that close to winless in the division, yes, it's great to be going to the playoffs, but that is something that needs to turn around next season, without question. You got to live in a world where you at least are competitive in the division. Can't be dropping every single division game. Can't be dropping home games to division foes like you did this year. Although it is interesting. The first year you have all gold package for the division games, all losses. I'm not saying, I'm just saying it feels like science there. I don't know. I'm kidding, gold package fans. I'm kidding. I'm not here to add to the negativity. Let the healing begin, as it were, with your comments and questions. I'm sure these will be level-headed and very reserved and analytically driven. Or maybe not. Soder, starting us off. What's up, man? Maybe someday, most likely not in my lifetime, the Packers will defend the middle of the field on must-have-it pass plays. Dude, look, you want to talk about the final play that set up the field goal. That was an abomination. I have no idea what the plan was there. From not rushing the passer, only having 3 guys, to having 3 safeties deep, I don't know what the idea was there. And those safeties, by the way, backed up at the snap of the ball. I mean, you basically gave them the field goal. And I know people will probably get on Valentine for allowing that slant into the middle of the field. I got caught up in it during the game, but no, I'm fine. You're okay giving up the middle because you're hoping they're not going to have enough time to clock it and get that next play off. Now, clearly they were able to do that. Matt said they weren't slow off the pile, etc. But I don't put that on Valentine. That is squarely on LaFleur and Halfley for approaching that play the way they did. As for the rest of the game, man, you're right. It has been through much of our life, no matter what who the coordinator is, doesn't matter what the scheme is, doesn't matter who the personnel might be. I tweeted about it late in the game. I mean, anytime if you're a Green Bay Packers opponent and you need to convert on 3rd down, just run off the coverage, have usually a running back, sometimes a tight end or wide receiver, come to the middle of the field, turn around right at the 1st down marker, and receive the pass for a 1st down, and onward your drive will continue to go. I can't understand how that, after how many games, after how many times we've seen offenses convert that way, the Packers just are allergic to guarding the sticks. I'll never understand it. I mean, hell, it happened on the play that set up the field goal. It's 3rd and 11 there. It's not 3rd and 22. I don't know. I just don't know. Josh, what's up, man? I love LaFleur, but today it's hard to overlook that he was outcoached by an interim head coach. Off to Philly, go Pack, go. He was and he wasn't. He certainly made some really bad in-game decisions, which obviously gives you pause. Taking that timeout there at the end prior to the 4th down rather than prior to the 3rd down blew my mind. But, as the game as a whole, I mean, he came into it knowing he was going to pull some guys. He obviously went away from Josh Jacobs early. Jordan Love got hurt. You're at backup quarterback zone. You're throwing to, Malik Heath down the stretch there because you've lost, Christian Watson, Romeo Dobbs didn't play, etc. So, as far as like how that game kind of ebbed and flowed coaching wise, I didn't put too much, as far as, oh, LaFleur got out coached. Now, clearly they got on the trick play on the return, and that's on Bisaccia, right? But yeah, I mean, they tried another big, pull all the stops trick play, and the Packers intercepted it. I just think that down at the end there, that was baffling. That was, I'm not going to say concerning, but it certainly didn't contribute to winning. Let's put it that way. It's Soder. Win next week, and none of this matters. Shock me. See? That's where I'm at. Like, look, does it feel like inertia is pulling the Packers towards one and done? No question about it. But we all know game to game momentum is not a real thing. I believe in momentum in game, but game to game momentum doesn't exist. Come out on Sunday, leave it all out on the field, play your best brand of ball, let the chips fall where they may. And we'll see. Maybe they are one and done, or maybe they shock the world. They're certainly going to shock a ton of Packers fans if they can win that game in Philadelphia next week, because boy, howdy, was the chat off the hook today. Y'all some negative Nancys. JJ, what's up, man? This whole regular season was a whole lot of blah. Didn't beat a single good team. Very inconsistent, undisciplined, sloppy. Matt LaFleur and Love both took big steps back. I don't know about big steps back, but I think they were very inconsistent. Of that, there's zero doubt. And to your point, like not meeting the good teams, etc., no question about it. They do not have a signature win, whatever you want to call it, but they certainly made all of those games. They were never blown out. There's not a single game you can point to and say they got absolutely clobbered, other than the first half of the Vikings game, which they stormed back in the second half. I just think there's no doubt that they were way too inconsistent. Of that, I agree. Brandy, how are you? Heath might not get the most reps, but he takes advantage of the ones he does get. You are not lying. What a catch up that right sideline. What's crazy is that he seemed to, do the out and up, and it seems like he kind of stopped on the route. And then he realized that Malik had thrown it up for him, and he went and just mossed it. Just an outstanding individual effort from Malik Heath. JJ, thanks again, man. Last year, I was going to be sad whenever it ended. This year, I will be happy when this clown show is done. They went 11-6, but how many games did we say Matt LaFleur was outcoached? 10. Next year is do or die. We didn't say that, JJ. You did. I highly disagree with you there. Joe, what's up, man? Only blocked field goal by Carl Brooks prevented Packers from going 0-6 in the NFC North. Thoughts? Joe, you got to get here earlier because I already gave my thoughts at the start of the stream. Soder, what's going on, man? Have divisional rivals caught up with the Shanahan/Matt LaFleur scheme? Offense has looked awful for large stretches, especially at home. Soder, I don't know if the division has, but I know Flores has. Talking to Cody Alexander this offseason, he talked at length, and we discussed it here on the channel a couple of times, how Flores was building the anti-Shanahan defense. And for sure, it looks like he's got the key. Now, does that mean the Bears, the Lions, etc., have figured that out and have operated similarly? I don't think that's the case. I think they've played better against the Packers. But, yeah, I think if there's something to be said for division rivals kind of having an idea of how to stop, slow down, etc., the Shanahan-style offense, it's definitely Minnesota, Flores, which is why I hope Flores gets a gig someplace else. Scott, what's going on, man? Going 1-6 in your division is not going to cut it for a long-term coaching job. Well, here's the thing, Scott. He's got other years on his resume. I understand it's all about what's happening right now, but that doesn't mean that's always going to be that way. Doesn't mean it's going to be that like that next year. But for this season, certainly. But do you just completely throw away all the other accomplishments against the division because of one season? I'm skeptical, sir. Now, you could say as a retort, like, we're headed that way, and maybe you're right. We'll see what transpires next season. But to say it's, a harbinger of him being fired or being out, I don't know about all that. Mimsy, oh, I wish I could. Please explain the timeout before McManus field goal like I'm 5. I can't, man. What blows my mind is he should have taken a timeout before the third down. Taking a timeout before the fourth down made zero sense. And he admitted as much after the game at the podium, which great, but what on earth are you thinking there? I don't know, man. Timeouts continue to be Matt LaFleur's kryptonite. Like, I would have loved a timeout before third down. Keep control of the game. That's the thing. The Bears have zero chance to even get that field goal attempt at the end of the game if you just convert there on third down. Call the timeout, go to the sideline, get a play you love, and run it on third rather than, well, we're going to hurry up and we're going to run into the middle of the line and then take a timeout. Like, that just made zero sense to me. Smooterino, you're not wrong here. It's on me, the Matt LaFleur story. I mean, I just want to know who will play him in the movie. Patrick, how are you, man? I came into today ready to defend Matt after seeing Rob Reichel's stupid, quote, column, and then LaFleur comes out and does that. Well, here's the thing. I mean, people saying that Matt LaFleur should be on the hot seat, that's nonsense, and you can dismiss all of that. But I will say, I don't have any problem with people, I'm not going to say attacking, but, criticizing LaFleur, because there's certainly plenty to criticize. I think that's true of a lot of coaches, though, and a lot of good coaches as well. It's not like anybody's totally clean perfect. I mean, Andy Reid was criticized up and down for years. Nick Sirianni, who the Packers are about to go face, he's criticized all the time. He's got one of the best teams in the league, So I got no problem with criticism. It's when people are like LaFraud or whatever. It's like, okay, you're 12 and I don't need to deal with you. Mateus Lee, thank you for the super sticker. Appreciate you. Lieutenant Dan, you ain't got no legs, Lieutenant Dan. Well, it's not going to be talked about, but should. Not doing anything with the ball with 30 seconds and 3 timeouts left before the end of the half. Points left on the field. Yes and no. I mean, they're way deep in their own end. You got a backup quarterback in. They ran one play, didn't pick up a ton, and were content to go to the locker room. I don't hate it. I got to admit. I know if Love's in there and you got your starters in, yeah, I'm probably raring to go, but that situation, of all the transgressions today, that is way down on the list. Mario, what's up? That soft coverage at the end was embarrassing, but that play calling was also very bad today. Hopefully, we are more aggressive against the Eagles. Yeah, man, the approach at the end from the defense is mind-boggling, man. It's just, and of course, it doesn't hurt. You start that drive with a personal foul, like a 15-yard penalty on the horse collar, which, yes, Williams definitely embellished to help them out, but still, don't put your hands inside the jersey. How hard is that? You're going to get called every time. That jump-started that whole drive. Absolutely awful. Trevor, what's up, man? On to Philly. Hurts rust, perhaps? Maybe. I know he's been out with a concussion. But look, you don't want to beat him because he's rusty. You want to beat him because you played your best ball. And, of course, the Packers have not done that the last 2 weeks. But is that a potential kind of narrative / development for this game? Yeah, sure. But, man, I want him right as rain. So when the Packers win, there are no excuses. Ed, how you doing, man? Fucking sucks. Best rivalry in sports, but this sucks. No first quarter offense really, really sucks. Yeah, the passing game. Man, that's the problem. I mean, you can run the ball, and they did. But when you're like dropping back and throwing it at guys' feet or having a wide receiver who's clearly cutting at the sticks and you're throwing it in front of the sticks so he has to dive for it, or you're just trying to hit a check down and can't do it. What is happening in the passing game? It was hard to watch there early in this contest. No question about it. Pack owner, thanks for being a Care of the G Club member, man. Can we please figure out why the hell we don't defend the first down? Love this team, but the confidence going into the playoffs is low. Yeah, I talked about it at the top, man. That's the MO on the Packers. Run off the coverage. Just sit down at the sticks underneath, usually with a running back. That has worked repeatedly for Packers opponents all season long. Now, some of it is because of the personnel. Some of it is because you're starting Wilson out there instead of Quay Walker. But it's not like Quay Walker was erasing it when he was playing. What I would love is for one time in our lives to get Quay Walker and Edrin Cooper playing the majority of the snaps for the whole game. Maybe that helps a little bit. But right now, yes, if you need a third down conversion, that's your route as a Packers opponent. RCS, how are you, man? Call me crazy. I'm okay playing Philly. I mean, look, you got to beat a good team in the playoffs. That's why it's the playoffs. I'm fine going to Philly. I'm fine going to LA. I don't care where we go. Put them on a dirt road in Bangladesh. Strap it up and play some ball. I don't care who they play. And now we know they're playing Philly, so let's go beat them. That's where I'm at. This guy, how are you, man? It wouldn't hurt so much if everyone didn't go down and lost the 6th seed and the 6th seed and on a 2-game losing streak, but no time to cry, go Pack, go. I think you're probably pretty emotional because you're typing a lot there that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but I hear you, brother. I hear you. Cat in suit. What's up, man? Does Jordan Love need LASIK? Maybe. Someone should ask him. Not a bad question. Shay Michael, thank you for the super sticker. Metellus Lee, thank you for the super chat, man. Watson and Jair both playing their last snaps in Green Bay. Oh, I very much disagree on Watson. I think Jair has played his last snaps in Green Bay. I know Watson is hurt. He probably won't be ready for next week. Matt LaFleur indicating that he doesn't feel very good or confident about that knee. I'll be very surprised if he goes. But Jair, yes, I agree. I think he's done in Green Bay. As for Watson, I think he'll be back. Alex, how are you, man? Thanks for all your guys' hard work this regular season, Cheesehead TV. Just got to play with the hand you're dealt heading into the postseason. Go Pack, go. Thank you, brother. Appreciate the kind words. And yes, the Packers, yes, have to play the hand they were dealt, but they have to play it better. This 2 weeks in a row, coming out of the gate slow, especially on offense, that's not going to cut it. Danny, what's up, man? What was that shit show on the last offensive possession? Why are we running hurry up with 3 timeouts and then call one and save theirs? Matt said to Rich, I forgot they had a timeout. Go Pack, go. Give me Philly. Yeah, it was hard to watch. Look, that last drive will be dissected, and you're right. It's ridiculous. Like I said earlier, I would have preferred they took the timeout before the 3rd down to get on the same page, get a good play call, etc. Forget all that. What the fuck was going on with 8 minutes left when they got the ball back before that drive? And there's like over 8 minutes to go, and they're running hurry up with Malik Willis and throwing it? Just run the ball. That's what made me think Matt really didn't care about this game. Like, what world does that, where does that make sense? Like, that felt like a preseason game as far as, okay, we're just going to try a lot of different stuff. We're going to get Malik some time and hurry up because he hasn't had that experience in this offense. So let's go with that. I mean, it felt like that early in the game, too. Felt like a lot of stuff being put on film for playoff opponents to worry about and have to study and prepare for, rather than a cohesive, okay, this is the game plan to go win a game. So I don't know, man. Yeah, I'm with you. It was mystifying. No question. Shay Michael, what's up, man? Packers regress big time this season. 0-6 in the division. Carl Brooks' fingernail would beg to differ, sir. Precious dolt or precarious dolt? Oh, no. Precocious dolt. I got it the 3rd time. Is our drop problem due partly to Love's ducks? I don't think so. I mean, he kind of threw a duck on that one on the sideline, and it got caught. No, they just got to catch the ball. Now, Love has to be better. Don't get it twisted. But, you're a professional wide receiver. Catch the fucking ball, especially if it hits you in the hands. Ed, thanks for the super chat, man. Tomorrow, I'll be happy about going to the playoffs, but right now, this sucks. Outcoached. What the fuck? I feel it, man. I wish I had some soothing balm for you to let it all kind of soothe out and feel better today, but it ain't going to work. It ain't going to work. It was hard to watch today. No doubt about it. Ryan, thanks for the super chat. LaFleur has totally lost me these last 2 weeks. Totally. Name that movie. Anyway, so all it took was 2 weeks. The man has been here, how many years? Won how many games? Done what he's done throughout his entire tenure in Green Bay. And all it took was 2 weeks for him to lose you? I think it says more about you than it does about LaFleur, really. That's just me. John, what's up, man? I may have overreacted when I said this team was pretty bad. They're just not very good. They're not playing well. That's what it is. They've got all the talent in the world. They've got all the ability to win football games. They are not playing well, and they're doing nothing with consistency. That's the issue. Now, you can call it a bad team, whatever you want to say. That's fine. You're a fan. It's cool, right? But you cannot sit here and tell me they don't have talent or they're a bad football team. They are playing nowhere near up to their standard. That we can agree on. Matt, what's up, man? Butterfly effect. Romeo sick equals Watson playing. You might be right. It sucks, but you might be right. Cat in suit, thanks to the super chat, man. I think hell is watching Jaden Reed and Alan Lazard end arounds on fourth down on a continuous loop. Yeah, and not Matt post game defending that play call. Oh my God. Fire that play into the sun. I hate that play with every fiber of my being. Play call, the execution, every part of it. If I see that again on a fourth down attempt, I will riot by myself, but I will riot. Don't ask what that looks like. You don't want to know. Rob, what's up, man? Imagine how good our defense could be if we had an offense. Funny how that works, right? I mean, it's crazy, the lack of complementary football. The defense kept them in that game today all day long. They had no business even being in the game at the end. But the defense kept them in the game. While also being they've spotted them 7 points on special teams. It would be shocking to watch this team play with a lead after how many weeks? I mean, I think Seattle was the last time we got to watch, coming out of the gate strong, take a commanding lead, score points, take control of the game. And I know that's the objective every week, but man, defense is getting kind of left out to dry with this offense that can't convert, can't string together drives, can't score points, and keeps turning the ball over. That's the other part of this. I mean, now we got Jaden Reed fumbling. What the hell, man? You got guys that you want to feed the football to, whether it is Christian Watson in Detroit, whether it is Josh Jacobs in Minneapolis, whether it is Jaden Reed today. These are your best players. Gotta stop putting the ball on the fucking ground. And it's not so much, the defense stood up again and kept them off the defense again, saving your skin, saving your hide. But man, you're also robbing yourself of an opportunity to score points and completely change this game. Give the defense a little help. They have got to stop putting the football on the ground. Got to do it. Reno, what's up? Love this team. Love these coaches. Love this stadium. Love Cheesehead TV. Go Pack Go now and forever. And by the way, happy to have at least one game left. See, now you're going to get attacked by a lot of people for, you're just happy to be here and whatever. You can ignore all that because, yes, being in the playoffs is not a right. You have to earn it, and the Packers have, and anything can happen. Now, I understand if people are not excited at that prospect, if they're convinced the Packers are going out to Philadelphia to lose. I, for one, like their chances. And I'm with you, buddy. I love all those things as well and appreciate the support. Joe, thanks again, man. Love needs to run the ball more. It's not just the yards he would get running. The threat to run can open things up downfield on off-schedule plays. You're probably not wrong. I think right now it's much more about just getting into a rhythm in the passing game. And yes, it would be nice if he could use his legs every once in a while. And he has used his legs to get outside the pocket on occasion. But yeah, I don't know if he's ever going to be a guy who you're worried about running the football. I just don't see that as part of his game. Ed, thanks again, man. On the last Packers possession, why doesn't LaFleur call a timeout and look to get a first down? Very sloppy game, concerning pattern. Love Cheesehead TV. Keep up the great work. Ed, thank you so much. I agree, man. That third down, I was yelling about it on the watch party. I couldn't believe they didn't call a timeout there. And then I couldn't believe he called a timeout prior to the kick. I'm with you. Get on the same page. Get on the same page. Same exact thing happened in the 4th and 26 game. Everyone remembers Sherman calls a timeout before 4th and 26, but what they never remember is that there was a play before that where he should have called timeout to make sure everybody gets on the same page and doesn't. Same thing happened here. Get a good, great play call that you love, high percentage, etc., rather than, okay, we're in tempo, we're going to run it up the middle because we've been doing that, etc. Man, I hated that. I hated that whole sequence. Albert, the wise crow, if you please. Thanks to the super chat, man. Even with a 1-5 division record, I'm getting 2011 Giants vibes, to be honest. And they won the Super Bowl. Let's be upbeat. Sir, I'm here to tell you your positivity is welcome by me, but it may not be welcome in the chat with your other fellow Packers fans. But I hear you, brother. Peter Lohr, how are you, man? How about Brandon McManus? 55 yards in the freezing cold in Lambeau Field. Nails it. Man, we've come a long way from the summer where we had zero idea if we were going to make kicks, if we were going to have kicks. We didn't know about the kicks. We didn't trust the kicks. This guy is an assassin. And in that environment, that's a big, big time kick. Pity the defense turned around and just shat the bed. Corey Krenz, this is going to be a recurring theme here. I just don't understand why LaFleur didn't take a timeout on third down after the turnover. Get set, get the first down, run the clock down. God damn it, LaFleur. I agree. That's my thing. And that's what I was telling Corey on that, because he was like, oh, it's fine, run the play, run the clock, whatever. But it's like, no, that first down, picking up that first down, essentially, not completely, because always a lot of ball game left, lots of stuff can happen. But if you pick up that first down, you have total control of the football game. As you saw, Brandon McManus nailing a 55-yarder. Imagine if there was like a 50-yarder and you bled another 40 seconds off the clock. I just don't understand not taking a timeout there to try and get your best play to essentially, again, not totally, but essentially take control of the football game and make sure the Bears never get the ball back. I'll be ruining that decision for the end of my days. Vex, how are you, man? What in the absolute world? Two pretty ugly losses. I mean, yeah, that last week's that one hurt. This one today, that doesn't hurt. I mean, it sucks that we finally lost to the Bears after 12 tries, but I mean, it was a pretty clear line to Philadelphia for the Packers. And yes, it would have been nice, especially early in this game, to play a lot better. But hey, man, all I cared about was coming out without injuries, and even that didn't happen because of Christian Watson. But yeah, I don't think this was an ugly loss. I think they had an ugly moment there at the end, though. That's for sure. Alex, how are you, man? Green Bay might have lost, but at least I'm bringing some carry the G back home. There you go. Salud, brother. Good stuff. KS, thanks for the super chat. Just an annoying loss. Let's see. Now there, I agree. No clue what Matt LaFleur was thinking on that last offensive drive. We'll see how they do in Philly. Who are you rooting for tonight? Vikings or Lions? That's a good question. I'm not rooting for anybody. I don't care who wins that game. I hate both of these teams. I do know, though, that Lions fans need to be taken down a peg. They went from totally irrelevant to thinking their shit doesn't stink in like 5 seconds. So if they lose, that's fine. That's great. But that means the Vikings win, which I'm never going to be happy about. So, I'll watch and I hope they tie. How's that? Mike, thanks for the super chat, man. On a scale of to house fire to the Hindenburg, that was a solid Chernobyl on the cluster F meter. I mean, in maybe the construction of just the football game itself, okay, maybe. But like in the pantheon of the Green Bay Packers this season or their history, is not even close. Not even close to that. Kevin, thanks for the super chat. At least this was Mark's last home game. Now, you have quoted him here. That's not something that was actually said by Corey Banke, but I believe he would agree with that sentiment. Mike Witt. Oh, these are always my favorite. 1-5 in the division this year is unacceptable. So that means you're not going to watch the playoff game, right? Because it's unacceptable. So you won't be watching the Green Bay Packers next week because they are unacceptable. Soder, what's up? They did mess with the Bears draft pick spot. Well, see? 4D chess, baby. I kid. Alexander, how are you, man? Nothing new to say. Confounding coaching at the end there. I don't understand going hurry up with 5-ish minutes left. Thank you for all the Cheesehead TV for a great season. Go Pack Go. Thank you, Alexander. And dude, it wasn't with just 5 minutes left. They were going hurry up with 8 minutes left. I gotta think the only acceptable reason is they wanted to get Malik Willis experience in the up-tempo, no-huddle offense because he hasn't really had that opportunity because they have been winning all the games that he started and or came in for, and they haven't really needed to utilize it. So here's an opportunity for them to do so. And it wasn't very effective because that's just not his style. It's not where he's effective. He's effective because when he's in there, they've run the ball, they've stayed ahead of the sticks, and they have some pretty, not easy, but delineated reads for him. But when you start going up tempo and having this multifaceted passing attack and trying to throw it around the yard, that has not been his thing. That is not where he resides. So yeah, that kind of blew my mind. Mimsy, thanks again, man. The Matt LaFleur story featuring Johnny Drama Chase / Kevin Dillon. Okay, that I can see that. It's not bad casting. Scotty, thanks for the super chat, man. I know Valentine's last play wasn't great, but he has looked good the last 3 games. Is he a dude? Also, Edge Cooper, one of the top 2 players on this defense already. I mean, yes, especially now that Jair's out, no question about it. Although he had a real big learning moment today when he missed that sack. Free rush at the quarterback has to come to balance. He just thought, oh, I've got a free line. Williams pretty easily steps back and makes a miss and completes the pass for a first down conversion. That's something he's got to learn from. But overall, yes, he is very, very good, and he will continue to grow and get better, which is exciting if you're a Packers fan. As for Valentine, yeah, he's a dude. And look, I don't kill him for that last play. I mean, that's more on the call than anything else. It's clear then, you don't want them to be able to get outside because then they're going to get out of bounds and stop the clock. So you're playing, shading to the outside, and they cut inside on the slant. And yes, they complete it. But man, they shouldn't even be in that position. Why they're rushing 3, why they're playing 3 safeties deep, I will never know. Just play your defense. I don't put that on Valentine at all. And by the way, the only reason that's a game there at the end is because of the play Valentine makes where he forces the fumble, which was an outstanding fucking football play from Valentine. I mean, that was a phenomenal play. So, yeah, I mean, is he ready to be a star in the league? I don't think I'll go that far, but, man, they've got a player there. Of that, there is zero doubt, and I agree. He has looked good these last handful of games. Chris White, thanks, man. Losing sucks, but it's part of the game we love. What's really hard to deal with is incompetence and uninspiring football. Chris, if you need to be inspired, go watch Malik Heath sky for that conversion on 3rd and long. That was pretty inspiring. But I hear you, brother. I hear you. Alex, thanks for the super chat, man. Malik Heath deserves to get real playing time in the playoffs. Dude's a baller. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it can be denied at this point. Whenever he is called upon, he delivers. What do they always talk about? Like, you make the most of your opportunities to get more opportunities. Well, at what point has Malik Heath done what he can to show he deserves more opportunities? Now, what sucks is he's probably going to get more opportunities next week because Christian Watson probably won't go. And I can hate that. But yes, 100%. Guy balls out. Alexander, thanks again, man. One last thing. I need to see Jordan be more loose with the ball, even if it results in some INTs. Whole offense feels afraid to make a mistake. Yeah, I feel you, man. I mean, we've talked about this a little bit, as far as, well, all first part of the season, everyone was all upset about the interceptions. Well, now he's trying to take checkdowns and be careful and not force it. And now people are like, well, we need to let it rip. So does he have to try and find a balance? Maybe. Yeah, possibly. I just think, man, it's so disjointed. I would like to see some easier throws asked of him early in games. I mean, look at Williams, what they asked him to do coming out the gate with those screens to the edge. I mean, look, that one of those ruptured into a touchdown, right? I just think there's a lot going on in the passing game that maybe hopefully can get cut out and kind of streamlined to help Jordan early in these contests. Stevie, what's up, man? Best part of Malik Willis is his running threat. No design runs this game. Stevie, I think there was one, if I remember right. I hear you, though. It is one of the best parts of his game. They need to utilize that. Though I will say, the plan this week wasn't for Malik Willis to play. So I doubt a whole ton of that was in the game plan. And you're usually drawing from your menu that you've all practiced together all week, right? But that said, yeah, can you get to one? Hopefully, 1 or 2. Like I said, I think they did one time, but sometimes it's tough. Oh boy, M is off the train. This coaching tenure is getting embarrassing. Wasn't good today, I'll tell you that. It was not good today. Adam, thanks for the super chat, man. What do you think has been the biggest stumbling block for this offense this year? Oh, shooting themselves in the foot. Just inconsistency. I mean, whether it's holding calls, whether it's false starts, whether it's drops, whether it's bad throws from the quarterback. I mean, they have shot themselves in the foot more than any Packers offense that I can remember for a very, very long time. And that's what's frustrating if you're a coach, because then where is the emphasis? Like, you can talk about all these things, you can drill it, you can emphasize it, but at some point it's on the players. You have to execute. Hold your water on the snap count. Make sure you catch that ball, even though it's a little off. Make sure you step into your throws of your Jordan Love and guide that ball and get it to where it's supposed to be. mean, there are so many different kind of pieces here that never seem to completely gel. And again, like if it's a dam and the water's breaking, if you're a coaching staff, you're trying to plug all the problems and you get a bunch fixed, and all of a sudden there's another one. At some point, the players have to execute. And that just doesn't seem to have happened with any regularity. Jackie Pack fan, what's going on, man? All these armchair QBs, coaches, mistakes were made. Does no one see the youngest team in the NFL has made the playoffs twice? Our defense has been what we haven't seen in years. Let's just go, Pack, go. I love your perspective, but I do not begrudge anyone being upset and thinking, they should be seeing better from this team. Yes, youngest team in the league 2 years in a row, but that doesn't excuse the mistakes from guys who have been in the program for 2 years. You know what I mean? And look, again, I understand what you're saying. They made the playoffs twice, no question about it. There are mistakes, what have you. But man, there's a standard. If you're going to call yourself Titletown and you're thinking, oh, this team was a contender coming into the season, which is what a lot of people thought. Now, maybe you disagreed, which is totally fine. But if people are like, well, this is a contender, and then they see this as the output, I understand being a little upset. I understand grousing about why are we looking so disorganized and taking steps back, etc. I just think, it is incumbent upon both Matt and Brian heading into this offseason, however it plays out, to really look at maturing this roster and getting, streamlined a little bit. Because I think they do a lot of different things on both sides of the ball with a lot of young guys. They need to, come to Jesus about who does what well and lean into those things. High-powered. Oh, here we go. Now, problem solved. Guys, it's my fault. I forgot to wear my cheese head. Well stated, sir. I'm glad to see someone can take accountability. That's what I'm really glad about. Overshadow, how are you, man? This feels like one of those teams we talk about forever when people freak out about division losses. Remember that 24-25 team that went 1-5 in the division and won the Super Bowl? No worries. Go back. Go. I like the way you think. There we go. Professor Flex, what's going on, man? We did all the stupid stuff in the regular season, so we play a flawless postseason. Had a few left in the chamber we unloaded today. Super Bowl run loading. To quote C-3PO, I wish I had your confidence. But I like where your head's at. Let's keep it up. Let's keep it on that tip. Rob, thank you for the super chat, man. Why are we throwing it short on fourth, then bombing it on first? Because that's how we roll, Rob. I don't know, man. I just don't know. Abdul, thanks for the super chat, man. Hey, Aaron, any update on Love and Watson? Yes, Jordan Love will be fine. Matt didn't have any concerns about his ability to go next week against the Eagles. As for Watson, that doesn't sound good. Matt LaFleur saying he doesn't have much confidence after that injury. I suspect I will be shocked if he's ready to go against Philly. I'll be surprised if he's good to go anytime soon. If the Packers are able to win and advance, I still wouldn't expect him out there. That was my read of what Matt said. Raha, what's up, man? Over the course of the season, the Halfley D has looked more to me like the Barry D. Is that due to injuries in the secondary? I think what you're seeing is, yes, Halfley having to play a little bit more shell defense, whether that's cover 2 or cover 3, because of the fact that he is down Jair, he's down Evan Williams, he, has been juggling guys in the secondary. So he's been a little bit more reticent to obviously call man coverage, but even try and mix it up very much. There's been a ton of simulated pressures where they're dropping guys, trying to confuse quarterbacks. And you saw it work a couple times today against Williams. But I guarantee you, sir, if Joe Barry had been the defensive coordinator today, the Bears would have scored many more points. Of that, I have little doubt. Mike, thanks for the super chat, man. Wanting to move on from Matt is goofy talk. If we're still having these issues next season, then the conversation has some credit going into 2026. But until then, it's premature. Perfectly stated. Thank you, Mike. I like when I don't even have to do the work and I can just read people's chats who make perfect points. Correct. JD, what's up, man? Thanks for the super chat. Only doing this super chat to tell the chat to stop whining. Go Pack, go. What is that line from Game of Thrones? If you've come to a chat for non-whiners, you've come to the wrong place. RTX Nikki, thanks for super chat, man. Do you think this was Matt's worst coaching season with the Packers? It's up there, in my opinion. It's most inconsistent. I'd have to wait until the season plays out, but definitely the most inconsistent. It's hard to say until we see the whole body of work, and I know no one wants to hear that. There's a long way to go, hopefully. Keith, what's up, man? Real season starts Saturday, and Bears kickoff at what time? I see what you did there, Keith. Doesn't make today sting any less, but I see what you did there. Sterling, thanks for the super chat, man. I feel like Packers being the youngest team is actually a problem. So many poor mistakes and no vets to steady the ship. What are your thoughts? That's kind of what I was talking about earlier, Sterling, as far as it's time to lock in the core, augment it with a vet or two, maybe in free agency. But then, yes, find out or figure out or, go do your deep dive. I always like to talk about these off-season deep dives. Well, find out who does what well, and let's focus on that and continue to bring these guys along. I don't doubt for a moment Brian will still have a 10-plus player draft class, right? And they will keep a lot of young guys on the squad. But it's time to start refining that a little bit. I do not doubt that for a moment. Evan Siegel up in here? Thanks, Evan Siegel. I don't even know if that's the same Evan Siegel, but appreciate the super sticker, brother. Dan McDermott, how are you, man? We haven't been the same team since we hired Salah. Oh, here we go. Or, oh God, what's his name? Oh God, Luke Getsy too. It's got nothing to do with Salah. Trust me. Brian K, thanks for the super chat. What was the team's vision today? To win, to survive and be healthy, to show up and assume we'd win? It seemed like a lack of purpose hurt us today. Brian, I somewhat agree with you there. I do think, and I said to Corey about 3/4 of the way through the game, especially it started when there was 8 minutes left and they were going hurry up offense with Malik Willis at quarterback. I thought, okay, Matt doesn't care. Like it felt like he didn't care about this game. Like it felt like he put a ton on tape early in this game that they haven't shown before to try and put it on tape. So whoever their playoff opponent is has to worry about it. And then late, it was like, well, let's get Malik some snaps in hurry up because he hasn't done that. Man, I don't know. And like, look, when I say that, I know he wants to win the game. I know he cares. But I'm with you. I thought there was a distinct kind of herky-jerky nature. It's kind of been all season long at times, right? Now, that said, no one comes into the game thinking, oh, and then Jordan Love's going to get hurt. We're going to have to play our backup quarterback. You know what I mean? That definitely threw them a bit. But I somewhat agree with your kind of overall view there. Michael, thanks to super chat. Players regressed or didn't improve from last year? Some, possibly. Others, I think, improved. I mean, I don't think you can make that as a blanket statement. Andrew Ware, Love's poor starts are a problem. I very much agree. And that's why I keep saying, got to start changing the approach early in these games. But we'll see. Maybe they do exactly that next week in Philadelphia. But yes, he has missed way too many throws early in these contests. That has got to change. Mimsy, what's up, man? Recency bias, but worst playoff vibes in forever. Well, sure. Absolutely. You lose games heading into the playoffs, when you back in, yeah, it's not going to feel great. Michael, thanks, man. Just can't stand it. Defense looked good in the first half, and then when McManus puts us ahead, they give up yards and cost us the game. This one hurt. Michael, don't get it twisted. They look good all game, not just in the first half. Can they get any support from the offense? Please? No, I thought the defense played well enough to win today. No question about that. Carl, thanks for the super sticker. Michael, thanks from across the pond. Sorry if this was discussed already, but that defense on the final play seemed way too soft. Oh, sir, not way too soft. Way, way, way too soft. 3 deep safeties on a play where they need to get into field goal range, and those safeties are backing up at the snap of the ball. I have no idea. I have no idea what the idea was there. And to rush only 3, shoot that into the sun, whatever that call was in that situation. Brody, what's up, man? He was fine, but let's end the Willis better than Love takes, please. Brody, it's always going to be dependent on output and about, production. And if Willis goes out there and throws for a bunch of yardage and puts up points, people are going to say Willis is better and or should be starting. It's never going to happen. I keep telling people Love is your guy. Get behind him. But yes, you're right. It is silly. Stony Grant, what's up? I do love when Jacobs is out. Brooks and Wilson are a threat to break out a big run. Going to need some big runs against a tough Philly front. Well, Stoney, that one huge one that Brooks had, how about the lane he had to run in? That was amazingly well blocked. Peter Lohr, what's up? Any thoughts on the Craig T. Nelson movie? Right now, no. The Packers just lost to the Bears. I'm not in Craig T. Nelson mode, but I'm sure it looked like a great event there at the premiere. I know Corey was invited, but didn't go on Friday night. I'll see it. Anything having to do with the Packers, and especially since some people I know are in it. But yeah, I have no thoughts on it at this moment. Carl, thanks for the super chat, man. Can someone tell Matt maybe to defer 3 seconds half, which is usually our good half, to the second half, I believe you mean? Yeah, I understand his thinking, trying to get on the front foot, get that lead. That is how they've been successful this season, getting a multi-score lead early, taking control of the game. But yeah, I'm with you on deferring. I like that. Abdul, thanks for the super chat. Why are people so down when 10 missed most of the game? Because he didn't come out guns a-blazing and complete a ton of passes and put up a ton of points and look like an MVP. So now he sucks and has to be benched. Abdul, are you new here? Welcome to the internet. Michael C., what's up, man? That punt return TD. Oh, dude, do we have to talk about it? I mean, that's just an awesome play from Chicago. But also, how the fuck could you even... yeah. Yeah. I've seen that run before. I've never seen it run successfully for a touchdown before. That's what's hurt. That's what hurts. That's what just puts the dagger in, especially since, the Bears don't win without it. Thanks for bringing it up, man. B-Mac, thanks for joining the Care of the G Club. Thank you so much. Be sure you check out the community page each and every week for our happy hour information. And, thanks for the support. Appreciate you. Stefan, what's up, man? When will the exact scheduling for next weekend be released, or is there already some info out? I haven't seen any info, Stefan. Usually they used to do it at halftime on the Sunday Night Football game, but because of the fact that they're dealing with the number one seed in tonight's game, I suspect it'll be towards the end and or shortly after tonight's contest. So we'll know by the time you wake up tomorrow morning, you'll know, unless you want to stay up and wait till after the game. The NFL usually, like I said, announces it towards the end or right after the Sunday Night Football game. Blind Panda, what's up? Think there's a future where Matt will trust someone else to call plays? I do, actually. He's talked about it. He talked about it 2 years ago at the end of the year. I believe he was asked about it. I'm trying to remember if he was asked or if he brought it up unprompted. But yeah, he said he's open to it. And I don't doubt for a moment that is a possibility. But at the same time, okay, so why? Because you want him to focus on his timeout management, lean into what he's really good at. I like him as a play caller. I just think some of these fourth down calls just drive me insane. But I just don't see that happening. But we'll see. I mean, Mike did it for a year, right? And then took it back about halfway through. I could see that happening as well. Tamor, what's up? What do you know about Ed Policy? Do you think he would push Goody to find another coach if they're disappointing next season too? Well, it's interesting you say that. It doesn't matter what Goody thinks. As far as Policy taking over and having the same setup that Mark Murphy does. Now, and that's the question, right? We have all assumed that Ed Policy will come in and take Mark Murphy's place and keep things as they are. He could potentially give the GM total power over football. I don't think he's going to, but it's a possibility. But as it stands right now, it's his call. Matt LaFleur, Brian Gutekunst, and Russ Ball all report to the president, who right now is Mark Murphy and will soon be Ed Policy. Ed could come in there and say, I want both of you gone. I don't think that's going to happen, but it is the gig as it stands right now. So to answer your question, it really depends on how they look next year. But both of those guys are going to want to show, best foot forward, etc., to get a new contract extension. Of that, there's little doubt. Matt Williams, thanks for the super chat, man. The disappearance of the intermediate middle passing game is confusing. Is Love afraid to throw it there? Clearly not running as many routes there either. Almost seems purposeful at this point. Odd. Matt, thank you. You have hit on the thing that I've been talking about now for about 2.5 weeks, where it does seem purposeful. And I do think it is a reaction to the interceptions earlier in the season and Love's tendency to throw picks over the middle of the field. Bad things happen over the middle of the field. A lot more bodies. Balls can, not just even throwing interceptions, to the other team, but like ricochets, balls bouncing up in the air, lots more bodies to go grab it, etc. But I do think at this point it is to the detriment of the offense because they rarely, if ever, attack the middle of the field. And so much is riding on the timing on the outside. And you saw again today how they are just not in sync out there at all, outside the numbers whatsoever. I'm with you. I'm really glad you brought it up because it has been bugging me for weeks and it does seem purposeful. And I do think it is a reaction to some of the issues they had earlier in the season. Now, maybe that changes next week against a Vic Fangio defense. You guys know they lots of too high. Best place to attack a lot of the time is down the seam. Maybe they get Musgrave going there, something along those lines. But yes, you're not imagining things. I agree with your assessment, Matt. It is a bit of a mystery. Raha, what's up, man? Feels like the 2015 Cut Devontae crowd is out in numbers today. That is so perfectly stated. Yes, a complete lack of context. You are 1,000,000,000% correct. Evan Siegel, what's up, man? Tried to write a message. Not that, Evan Siegel. This play calling exercise is exhausting, easy to do after the play. Timeout before fourth down was weird. Yes, I will say we need more from Love on that contract. Well, you want him to look better and be developing faster. That I totally agree with, especially when you are the starting quarterback of the Green Bay Packers and you look so scattershot early in these games. I don't really care about his contract as much, but man, it's hard to win games when you start so cold coming out the gate each and every week. As for play calling exercise after the play, I hear you, but I will never, ever, ever, ever give up on. I will die on the hill of I don't ever want to see an end around on fourth and whatever ever again, ever again. Reno, what's up, man? What did you think of the play of Oladapo? Nice to see him out on the field. I did see he was out there. Haven't really watched him in particular. I got to go back and look at the tape, but I do love getting him out on the field. I love him getting some experience. I do like his game overall. He was one of my draft crushes, so I'm excited to see what he put on tape. Max, you echoing many here, sir. Can we stop receiving the ball in the first half? Our defense is solid to get an early game start, takes less pressure on the offense. We'll see. Like I said, that has been their MO this year to take the ball, try and march down the field, get points on the board early. It has bit them in the ass a couple of times, though. Perhaps they won't even win the toss next week and they won't have to worry about it. John, how are you, man? 4th and 26, prevent defense makes me drink. The chess game our coaches are playing leaves a lot to be desired. Yes and no, John. They certainly get magnified in big moments at the end of games like that. No question about it. And big moments early in the games to put a touchdown on the board in special teams. I do think they do more than maybe people give them credit for because they're so used to winning. But yes, it's frustrating when you have coaches and their decisions directly contributing to losses. Agree there. Jay, thanks for the super sticker, man. Andrew's Paradise, thanks for the super sticker, man. Or thanks for the super chat. Give the Bears a dozen chances or so. I guess they can win one. Not even or so. Give them a dozen chances. Gave them a dozen chances, and they won one. Well done, Chicago. Well done. You won 1 out of 12. I'm impressed. Great job. And it took a brain fart from both the offensive play caller and the defensive play caller, the Green Bay Packers, to get you there. Good job. Good effort. Omnicron, what's up, man? Not to always excuse 10. He needs to be better. But with 3 wide receivers in the top 15 for drops, the lack of confidence in middle of the field throws makes sense. Go, Pack, go. Did you also know that they are tied with the Vikings for the most contested catches? Would think they would engender some confidence in the young quarterback in that regard. I mean, I know the drops are easy to look at, but they also make great catches. I mean, look no further than Malik Heath today. I mean, I hear you. No question about it. Still want to let it rip sometimes. Yes, Jared. Winning one division game is bad. 0 at home is worse. I blame the gold package. I kid gold package. I kid. I don't blame the gold package. It is convenient, but I don't blame the gold package. It is interesting, though. The gold package watched 3 losses this year. Kind of crazy. Yeah, Sam, I think that's a very well put point. The trio of Wicks, Heath, and Melton that we all thought would give us top tier depth haven't really gotten many chances like they did last season. Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because there's no doubt that they do provide depth, but I don't know how often you're game planning for your depth players. You know, you want guys like Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, Romeo Dobbs to lead your core and lead your offense. When those guys are called upon, though, they do seem to deliver. No question about it. Jacob B. Brian Gutekunst needs to interview someone to coach. Okay, now I know it's time to go because Brian Gutekunst doesn't have that responsibility. That is, at the moment, Mark Murphy. But this offseason, it will be Ed Policy. Nick Keller, thanks for Super Chat, man. Just me, or do the love-led Packers play up or down to the other NFC North teams, regardless of how good the other teams are? Is my brain living in revisionist history? Is this what we should expect? I don't know if you should expect it going forward, Nick, but it certainly happened this season. Now, that said, two of the three teams they play this year in the division are two of the best teams in the league. So I don't know how much stock you can put in that. All right, buddy, I'm going to have to get going. I cannot thank you enough. Man, we've been chatting for an hour. You Packers fans are the absolute best. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if they win, they lose. We are here for you. Let's talk it out each and every day this week. We'll find out tonight when and where the Packers are playing. When we know where, we'll know when sooner rather than later. And then we will set our sights on the Philadelphia Eagles. Looking forward to it. Cannot thank you guys enough for hanging out, talking Packers. And I know I say this all the time, but I really mean it. Thank you so much all throughout the regular season for engaging and using Cheesehead TV in any way, shape, or form to connect to the Green Bay Packers. I'm sure some of you have seen we are very, very close to hitting 100,000 subscribers here on YouTube, which is absolutely insane to me. When we started way back in the day, never would have thunk that Cheesehead TV would turn into what it has turned into. And that is because of all of you guys. Thank you so much. Please do hit like, hit subscribe, turn on your notifications, and then tell your friends and tell your family, Cheesehead TV. We are devoted to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great night. Go Pack Go.